Hey friends, welcome to AromaticChat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. Every other week, I sit down with a different aromatherapist to learn about their aromatic journey and how they use essential oils in their lives and their businesses. AromaticChat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and I'm your host, Melissa, your master transformational coach and registered aromatherapist. Welcome to the last podcast episode of 2022. Number 64, Aromatic Chat with Jackie Glinkie. I have had the privilege of getting to know Jackie through an online aromatherapy community and was thrilled when she accepted my invitation to be a guest on Aromatic Chat. I'll explain why in just a minute, so let's get started. Jackie, I am really excited that you're here today for so many reasons. We met through the Aromatherapist in Business community that is hosted by Katrine Burkholz. Yes. And I just really enjoyed getting to know you in that space. So I was so excited when you said yes to doing an interview on Aromatic Chat.
Well, thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
I was excited and bewildered when you asked.
Bewildered. That's an interesting response.
Yes. Well,
what was it that had you feeling bewildered?
I just thought, I'm so not sure of what I'm doing yet that what could I possibly have to tell you?
Well, I think it's great though. And that's part of why I do the podcast, because there are so many aromatherapists out there feeling the exact same way. Like, I don't know who I serve. Because, when you're talking to business coaches, they're like, niche down, niche down, niche down, know who you serve, come up with your avatar, figure all these things out so that you can speak directly to them. And most of us in this healing arena, we're just sitting here going, I just want to help anybody who needs help.
Yes, exactly.
And that has us feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing. But you've gone to school, you've got the certification, you do know what you're doing. The messaging just might not be there yet.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so I think it's an encouragement to other aromatherapists who might be in the exact same place that you are going, I don't know what I have to offer.
Yeah, I guess you're right. As usual.
I am right. Yes, I know. But before we jump into just regular general questions, I always love to get the story. Like, what in the world brought you here? Because I think we're about the same stage of life as far as age and maturity goes, but like we all have different journeys. And what is it that brought you to aromatherapy and being in this place where you're trying to figure out who it is that you help?
I don't know if I've always been interested in aromatherapy per se, but my parents were antique dealers and they always collected things because they were antique dealers. And they started me with a collection of perfume bottles. When I was like, 12, I started just collecting different bottles, atomizers, etc., just antique bottles. And I always liked the scent of the perfumes, but I didn't like to wear the perfume. I don't know why. I just never liked having it on me, but I always liked smelling the bottles and, that. And then I put them away for a paint job it was in my bedroom. And I was a teen parent, so my daughter was a toddler. And I was trying to baby-proof my room because I lived with my parents. And so I packed away all my bottles out of the cases and I painted the room. And in the attic that I put them in was part of another building that was, it was attached to the house that we lived in. And all of the bottles got stolen from the attic. So I just didn't ever pay any attention to them again. I just was sad. My bottles are gone. I'm done. So then in like 2000, maybe, I was at a family pet show and I saw a multi-level marketing booth. but I didn't want to be sold because I thought you had to be a doctor or something. Somebody said aromatherapy when I passed the booth, and I'm like, oh, you have to be a doctor for that. Well, like the therapy part
Right.
in my head was like, that must be for smart people. So it wasn't for me, and I walked away. I was early 20s anyway when that happened, but still young, And so then later on, I found tea tree for head lice for kids, all that random stuff. Maybe in 2014, my bonus daughter was having a young living party. And so I went because I was supporting, because that's what you do.
Right.
And I bought a kit, and the person was like, oh my gosh, come to my house so that we can open your box and I can show you all the things. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I love marketing. So I already know about multi-level. Like, I just always enjoyed picking apart a multi-level marketing scheme. To me, it's just fun to be like, okay, what are you going to sell me? How are you going to sell it to me? What are you going to do? How are you going to get my attention with this thing or that thing? But what I forgot to say before was that when I was at the party before the sale, the woman was training somebody, and that person, it wasn't her, it was the person that she was teaching. They just said, these oils are so potent that it'll pop a balloon. The lemon will pop a balloon. And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't sound great, because they were serving that in my water. And I was like, well, I'm not really a rocket scientist here, but I don't think that's cool that I'm going to be drinking something that's going to pop a balloon. So anyway, I went home and searched what to do with these kit of oils that I bought. I joined Aromahead for like their natural living class. And then I kept taking a class, and then that got me more curious about something else. And then I got more, just, it's like a never ending thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a roundabout way, but that's how I got into aromatherapy.
Well, but I think it's interesting because that story is actually quite common. I went somewhere, there was a multi-level marketing company who sells essential oils. I went over, I was interested, but then something they said didn't sit right. And I want to find out what it is that didn't sit right.
Mm-hmm.
That trusting that gut intuition, that we all have, that just, it didn't feel right. My story was similar. So I think that's a really common story for a lot of aromatherapists, not everybody, but a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've heard it a lot.
Yeah. It's a very common story. That's amazing. You did kind of gloss over something really quick though, because I was a teen mom. I put all my bottles away.
Yeah.
Wow. A teen mom. That is an accomplishment. And yet you were still able to go to school and still able, I don't know. To me, that's just an accomplishment.
Thanks. Yeah. It was hard. I worked for my mom. I've been in a family of entrepreneurs my whole, everything. So
bonus.
Yeah. So I started a business with my mom when my daughter was 6 weeks old. And so I worked making t-shirts.
Very
for
cool.
many years. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And you have bonus kids.
Oh yeah. Got bonus kids.
That's cool. You have a very unique story, I think. Would love to hear more, but we'll go back to the aromatherapy stuff. So you went to the Aromahead Institute.
Yes.
For your certification. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
It was online. I think that I was there during a time when it was shifting, and I've been going back here and there and peeking in and seeing what they've changed,
That kind of speaks to the nature of aromatherapy though, because aromatherapy is always shifting and always changing. And not that the essential oils change, they're still the same, but our understanding of them changes. And that speaks really greatly of Aromahead, that they're going back in and updating things to match the current science.
I take a lot of Tisserand classes now. One thing I appreciate about their classes is that you have to do them in a certain time period. you have to be in the time frame that, or they close and they're gone and you just don't get to, I mean,
Right.
yeah, they will give you a little more time if you do need it. I mean, I've asked for more time before, but it keeps me on my toes and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And,
I get that.
I
Yeah.
need that.
I need a deadline.
Yeah.
If I don't have a deadline, I can just, find a million other things to do. but with the deadline, that's one of the reasons I chose ACHS, because it's a college and it's semester by semester by semester. And this is the time frame that you have. So get it done. All right. So without sharing too much personal information, because we don't want to, violate anybody's privacy, what is your favorite client story?
I had this person that was my first case study that I didn't know. I found them on Facebook. They were asking me for pain stuff. So I made them she had a knee problem. She said, well, this is like magic. So then she asked for some more, different something else. I contacted, her to say, hey, how's everything going? Did the last thing I send you work out for you? And she says, no, actually, I was sitting in the kitchen and my husband was standing there and he just fell down and he died. Unexpected. He just was standing there 1 minute talking to her and the next minute he was on the floor. So it was like devastating, unexpected. Holy cow, I can't even imagine that happening. I said, well, would you mind if I made you something for grief? She said, okay, anything that can, help. She actually contacted me after I sent it, and this really does help me. And I'm using it at night before I go to bed. I didn't expect it to do what it did for her. That always sticks in my head, that she was helped by that, inhaler that I sent.
Yeah. Something so small has such an impact.
Yeah.
But it's those stories, it's those things that we look back on, especially when we're in this place where we're going, am I even doing the right thing? Is this what I'm supposed to do? And then we have those stories in our back pocket that we can pull out and remember, this is why I'm doing this, because I am actually making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. And I think also because I was doing case studies and I really didn't know what I was doing yet, it was kind of like a wow moment for me that I actually helped somebody do the,
Yeah.
like, huh.
Even
really
with the limited knowledge that I have, because these schools, y'all, they have you start doing case studies early. Like you barely know anything and you're starting to help people.
Yes.
But it's such a boon because it's so early. I barely know anything and I still helped somebody.
Right.
It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. And then that person, you may have opened up a door for them that they didn't even know was available.
Oh yeah. I think I did for her.
That's
definitely.
awesome.
I mean, it was sad that I helped her because of, the situation, but
also in that moment, like when she told you that story, you didn't just go, oh, I'm sorry, and hang up the phone. You said, oh, I'm
no.
sorry. Can I help you further? Can I do more to help you?
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's huge, especially in those moments of deep transition and grief. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even imagine what she was feeling. And she probably thought I was crazy. What are you going to give me?
Well, I think a lot of people do kind of look at aromatherapists like we're a little bit crazy. So it's okay. You're in good company.
Yep, exactly.
You believe what? You believe plants can do what? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my mom does that to me. She told her doctor recently, she says, wow, my daughter made something and it healed me. And he was like, what did she make you? Magic potion?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was funny.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you've shared so far. I think this is really going to land for a lot of people. I feel like your story is going to really inspire people, but I'm curious who inspires you.
I mean, there's so many people that inspire me for one reason or another. I was watching because I'm doing the aromadermatology program, a diploma with Tisserand, and they do Q&As every week, or not every week, but every couple weeks. And somebody asked Robert a question. And you automatically think, oh, it's Robert Tisserand. He knows everything. But he said, I don't know. I don't have my notes. And I was like, huh. Well, if he can say, I don't have my notes, so can I.
Hearing Robert Tisserand say, I don't have my
Oh,
notes.
that was good. Oh, yeah. Because if he can
gives
say
us it almost gives us permission,
yes.
right? As aspiring
think,
aromatherapist,
yes, you
gives
think,
us permission.
Well, he's supposed to know everything.
But who can know everything?
Oh, I
though,
know,
really?
I know, but
I know we all look at Robert Tisserand and we're not worthy, we're not worthy, we're pond scum. But still, I mean, he's still just a man. Do you know what movie that's from?
Yes.
I knew I loved you. I knew I loved you.
Yep. I think we could get in a lot of trouble.
I think so. Oh my gosh, too much fun. But I think we look at Robert Tisserand and think, he's the period at the end of the aromatherapy sentence, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Robert doesn't know, I don't know who would.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, our brains can only hold so much.
Right.
And
it's okay if we don't. I think that was my biggest thing, is that it's okay.
Right. It is okay.
Yeah.
It's
but
perfectly
I
okay.
didn't know that all these years.
So as a leader, right, which is what we are as aromatherapists, we're leaders. We might not have 1 million people following us, but we are leaders because we have the knowledge base to be able to use these essential oils safely. This is something I taught my Boy Scouts. As a leader, you don't have to have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to know where to find them.
Right.
And that's what Robert Tisserand is a master of. He knows where to find the answers. He knows a lot, but he also knows where to find the answers. And you do too.
I didn't feel like I learned enough at Aromahead. And I really liked Scylla Shepherd. So they were doing a sale. And I was like, I really feel like I need to take this class. And so I signed up for their Aromatic Institute's practitioner program. And Scylla was doing stuff. And I said, and it was during the time I had COVID in November of 2020. And I had brain fog so bad. I just couldn't remember anything. And I still have a hard time remembering. And I think that's why I haven't really gone forward with anything that I plan to do, because first of all, I had anosmia for 2 years. I just in January really started smelling again. So that was depressing. But when I was on one of the Q&As with Scylla, it was like, I told her, I just need to know that it's okay for me to look things up, that I can look things up. And she's like, as long as you know where to find it, that's all you need.
Exactly.
And that's really big, because I never knew that nobody's got all this stuff memorized. I don't know what I was thinking.
But that's one of the things that I think social media has made it difficult, because we see the people and they look so professional and they look like they have it all together and they look like they know everything. But like you said, we don't know that there's a teleprompter right there that they're reading. They're reading everything. Yep. And then that sets in that imposter syndrome in us. Like, who am I? They seem to know everything and I don't, and I'm still learning, but we're all still learning. Even Robert Tisserand is still learning. We're all still learning. No one arrives in this life. So but I think social media has us believing the opposite, that, that person has it all together.
It's kind of sad, really.
It is. So what are you working on right now that's got you really excited?
It's actually part of a plan of mine. I wanted to make a box for beginners
Mhm.
that is small and easy, one blend in a box, and we learn all about the stuff in the box and why we use it, and et cetera, et cetera. And I had this idea in my head about using an app for a visual. This is what we do with it. This is why we do it. You know, part of a lesson, And I looked into a couple apps and neither one of them really fit. So I'm adding, making a database, and I'm adding therapeutic and use properties so that when you go in, they already have their plant parts and chakras and different, things. So then we'll have therapeutic too. So you can search eventually
Very nice.
that way. Anybody can use the app. It doesn't have to be an aromatherapist,
Right. Right.
So I think that if there's good information in there that can be used by anybody, then it's worth having. I never intended to do all this. I was trying to figure out how to use these oils without drinking lemon.
Where can people find you and what you're doing in the world?
I have a wait list on infinitearomatics.com. Facebook, I have my business page, same thing, Infinite Aromatics.
Where do you show up the most?
The algorithm tells me I should be on Instagram, but I like Facebook.
Then that's where you are. All right. Awesome.
So.
I don't like the algorithm, so I don't listen to it. And I just do my own thing.
Yeah, me too.
Do you have a favorite essential oil? Not everybody does, but do you?
Vetiver. I was going to say rosemary, but vetiver.
What is it about the vetiver?
It smells like petrichor to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up in Chicago, I lived in the concrete jungle. Like I had just cement, and the minute the rain hits the cement and it just lets that off. I know they say petrichor is more like dirt, but it's a dirt cement earth.
The whole that earthy smell. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what vetiver reminds me of.
That's awesome. All right. So as we close out our time together, I always like to hand everything back to you to share anything that's heavy on your heart or some inspiring words. Some people have shared a quote or a poem. What would you like to leave the listeners with?
Coming to confusion is always a sign that learning integration and a leap of understanding is upon us.
I like that.
So that's what my opening quote on my aromatherapy paper was. And I appreciated it because I was confused about diluting, and that just resonated with me. So I was listening to one of your podcasts with Marge. I love Marge. And she said, we live in a universe of abundance. Rejoice in friends and other successes. And that struck me because I was raised to think that everybody's out to copy you because they want what you have. And don't let anybody know what you're doing because they're going to do it before you. And then when I started figuring out my box and I started seeing people with boxes, I was like, I'm not going to tell anybody anything ever again. And then I was like, you know what? It's okay. There's enough for everybody,
Yeah.
My box is not going to be the same as everybody else's box.
One of the biggest differences between your box and anyone else's box is
me. It's me.
It's you.
Yeah. I didn't know that a couple years ago, though. But that's a whole other story. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
We live in a universe of abundance.
Yes, we do.
Celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate everyone's achievements. I love that. Marge is so smart.
Yeah, I love
We're
March.
so lucky to still have her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jackie, for taking time out of your day, sharing your story with us, and just the inspiration of hearing everything. I mean, you didn't even share everything, but hearing all of the things that you've gone through to get where you are and getting ready to put this really cool product out into the world. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm so glad that Jackie quoted the incomparable Marge Clark. We do live in a universe of abundance, and being able to celebrate the accomplishment of others is really huge. Something happens inside of our brains when we move from a scarcity mindset into a mindset of abundance. We begin to see the world in a new way. Have you heard it said that we don't experience the world as it is, but we experience it through the lens of our beliefs? We all go through tough times, but the meaning we make about ourselves and the world around us, due to whatever circumstances come our way, is what gives us our view of the world. What if we could shift those negative beliefs to positive ones? What if we could view the world through a new lens? Well, I want you to know that it is possible, and I can show you how. I hope you enjoyed this Aromatic Chat episode with Jackie Glinkie of Infinite Aromatics. I loved hearing her story, and I hope, especially if you are a newer aromatherapist, that you were encouraged. Jackie is truly amazing, and I can't wait to see the beauty that she puts into the world. I want to let you know that you can have access to the entire unedited recording at buymeacoffee.com. As a member of the Aromatic Chat community over there for just $4 a month, you have access to the full unedited episodes, meditations, and you would be supporting the mission of Aromatic Chat to connect people with the aromatherapist that meets their needs. You can become a member over at buymeacoffee.com/aromaticchat. That's buymeacoffee.com/aromaticchat. Be sure to check out the show notes for any links mentioned in today's episode. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching. You can connect with me, your master transformational life coach and registered aromatherapist, on the web at lemonbalmcoaching.com. Would you be open to leaving the show a review? Reviews make it possible for Aromatic Chat to climb up the ratings and also for new listeners to find the show and connect with the aromatherapist that meets their needs. You can leave reviews on Apple Podcast, Podchaser, or at buymeacoffee.com. I will see you in 2023 with our next episode. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.